A woman extradited from Oklahoma just days ago to stand trial for a 2007 murder has died at a regional hospital today.
Yeah, just last month, Shelby County DA Steve Mulroy announced Andrew Hayes was wrongfully convicted, and it was actually Sarah Lucas Rydell who helped her mother commit the crime. Action News 5's Michaela Redmond continues following this story for us. She joins us live outside 201 Poplar with the latest developments. Michaela.
Joy, Sarah Lucas Rydell was supposed to have her first court appearance tomorrow morning right here at 201 Poplar. I spoke to someone who knows this case very well, and she said hearing about Rydell's death was shocking.
She was only behind bars in Memphis for 3 days before she died. It's just not justice.
Stephanie Tinsley, who created the podcast Everything They Missed about this case, has been in constant communication with the family of Danny Harris, the man murdered in 2007 in Cordova, and the family of Andrew Hayes, the man wrongfully convicted of helping Tammy Vance with the murder.
In Duncan, Oklahoma, and she went through intake at a hospital there. They discovered she had stage 4 lung cancer.
According to the Shelby County Sheriff's Office, the fugitive unit extradited Sarah Lucas Rydell from the hospital in Oklahoma and brought her by ambulance to Memphis, directly to Regional 1 on Saturday. SCSO says Rydell never entered the jail and was booked and processed at the hospital, where she died Wednesday morning.
Sarah dying is not justice for Danny Harris's family and his 4 sons who are still suffering. And Sarah's death is not justice for Andrew Hayes' family, who wanted to see Sarah behind bars, and they deserved that.
According to Shelby County District Attorney Steve Mulroy, Rydell was set for arraignment this week, and prosecutors were ready to prepare her case for trial. He says despite her passing, and due to the evidence collected by Stephen Harris, the victim's son, we do not anticipate that her passing will affect the exoneration of Andrew Hayes. Criminal defense attorney Phil Harvey says Hayes' release depends on how quickly the judge and all attorneys involved move.
It's an extraordinary type of relief, and it happens very rarely. Obviously, when it does happen, it gets a lot of attention, so it may seem to the public that it's more common than it is, but there's just no set timeline because it is so rare.
Hayes was also supposed to be in court tomorrow morning, but Judge LaPon recused himself from the case. Harvey said that's most likely because LaPon was a prosecutor at the time of Hayes' trial. Hayes has been reassigned to Judge Coffey, but no date has been set yet. Reporting live at 201 Poplar, Michaela Redmond, Action News 5.
All right, Michaela, so let's take a look at the full set of events now. Danny Harris was killed in August 2007. His body was found more than 2 months later. The following June, Andrew Hayes was indicted on murder charges. In August 2010, almost 3 years after Harris's death, Hayes was found guilty. For the following 15 years, Hayes appealed his conviction and failed. Last September, Sarah Rydell confessed to helping her mother kill Harris. That information was filed last month, and District Attorney Mulroy announced Hayes' wrongful conviction. You first heard from Andrew Hayes' family right here on Action News 5. We'll continue to follow the District Attorney's push to have Hayes exonerated nearly 20 years after Danny Harris was killed. For all of our previous coverage, including that first sit down on Action News 5 at midday, you can head to our website, actionnews5.com.